Hello and welcome to Crafting Cat's Advanced Embellishments video tutorial series. This is our follow-up series to our Back to Basics junk journal video tutorial series. You can find the links to all of our videos in the description below, and you'll also find the links to our Etsy shop and our Facebook page. We post a new video every 7 to 10 days, and this is buttons, beads, and clips. So here's what we'll need for this. We'll need the junk journal that we've been making since the beginning of our Back to Basics series. We'll need a variety of buttons, beads, charms, different colors that match our cover. We'll need some brads, a pair of small scissors, some pliers, a skein of string, and a ruler just in case. We're also going to want a variety of large beads and some gold bits just for shiny glitter stuff. And we've got some different types of clips. We're going to use some hairpins that have some decoration on them, and of course paper clips. And we'll also need a glue stick. And we're going to want a length of fishing line or monofilament. So we've colored our monofilament with a permanent marker just to make it more visible, because we want to show you how to use this little length of monofilament to pull a fat string through beads that it just doesn't fit through. So if you just take your monofilament and put the two ends together and then slide your bead on, then carefully pull the end of your string through the loop above the bead, then just carefully slide your bead up the end of the filament string and right onto your string. You can even do multiple beads all at once, just the same way. Slide the beads up to the loop end of the filament and pull your string through your beads. So first we just want to choose a variety of buttons that look nice with our cover. So a couple of these larger buttons, something shiny, and some gold, and we're going to use some of these larger seed beads as well. We'll just toss down a few of each color. And then we're going to take a piece of string. We're going to go ahead and measure it so that it's 18 inches long. And then we're going to go ahead and string our large bead, our large button on there. And we'll put a bead in the middle of it so that it stays where we want it to be. It'll kind of give it some tension against the string. Now I think we want to add one of these nice gold coins, so I'm just going to use my pliers to form my jump ring so that it won't lose the string through the slot. Then I'm just going to add that coin charm to the end of my string with a knot. Trim off the tail, slide that button down. Now I want to add a little more color to the string, so I think we'll try the smaller button that looks just like it. That'll help hold it in place. And then a couple of these seed beads in different colors. Now we're just going to set that one aside, and we're going to do another one. So again, we're going to measure our string for 18 inches. And I have this fat little heart charm, so I want to put that right at the end of my string with a knot. And trim that tail off and add some seed beads. I'm going to tuck the end of the string inside that seed bead. Then we'll use our shiny button, glass or crystal button, and we'll set that one aside as well. Now we're going to take our long string, which will be our bookmark with some charms on the end, and we want to get a combination of beads and buttons on there with a charm on the end of that as well. So we're going to need our monofilament string, because this string on our binding is a little bit thicker than the string that we've been using so far. So we'll get some beads and some buttons on there using our monofilament technique. And then we want to put our charm on the end. This is just sort of a lacy silver leaf. Then we're going to open our journal because we want to make sure that our string is long enough and our charms don't end up closed in the book, but we also don't want it too long. So then we will have to slide our charms up the string far enough to give us some room to make a knot with our leaf at the end. So we'll tie that. And slide our charms back down to the bottom. Make sure we get them all nice and snug down there. So now we want to choose some larger beads for the other ends of all of our strings, including our shorter string that is on our binding. We want to grab a couple of buttons too, and I have this really nice cherub charm that has a nice weight to it, and it's going to look really good with this cover. So use my pliers to take it off of the chain and work it till we have the ring just right. Then I want to lay my journal flat just by opening it in the center. And then I'll take my shorter string on the binding, and again using the monofilament because it's a fatter string, I want to put on some beads, buttons, and charms onto this string. So we'll just tie a knot at the end for our leaf charm. And trim off our tail and then hide it under the beads if we can. I'll just tuck our bookmark out of the way so we don't confuse ourselves with our strings. And we're going to attach some added strings to this. So we're going to take the end of one of our 18-inch strings and we're just going to sort of weave it over and under our binding strings above our knot. And then we want to be sure and flip our beaded string up out of the way, because we're going to tie our knot underneath the knot. Go ahead and tie our knot as securely as possible. Now we want to go ahead and string the other end of this string with beads and buttons and charm on the end. So this is a smaller string, so our beads will go on easier. These little gold ones, which we like the shimmer of them, don't go on so well. So we're going to use our monofilament again. Get all of our beads on there. Slide them onto the string. Let's do a couple more of the seed beads. And then we want to charm at the end. One more seed bead, there we go. So we're just going to tie a simple knot in the end of this. The seed bead will stay above it, and then we're just going to fray the end of that string so that it looks like a little tiny tassel. And now we have 3 beaded strings, so we're going to add our last 18-inch string on here. Same technique as the last one, except this time we're going to go through the opposite, weaving over and under the ones that we didn't use last time. And again, flip our strings up out of the way and tie our knot underneath the knot. And we'll put some beads and buttons and our cherub charm on this last string, and I think I want it to be a little bit longer. So use our monofilament technique to add a bunch of beads. And our cherub charm at the very end. And untangle those. And now we have all of our strings beaded with charms and buttons and beads. And we're going to adjust our strings just a little bit. Everything back where it belongs, and I think I really like the way that looks. Now we want to show you some different ways to use clips in your journal. We're going to work with some clusters that we've made, and those will be our next video, so we'll show you how to make these pretty random clusters. But we're going to go ahead and embellish them a little more, just because we want to be able to use our buttons for other things besides just strings. So we'll choose some buttons that we think look nice with these two clusters, and we're going to attach them with brads. So let's find some brads that we like. Okay, we also want to use up our string scraps and add some beads and charms to these clusters as well. So we've got kind of a gold theme going here, so we will use some gold seed beads and some tiny gold charms. And I think another one of these coins as well, and maybe just a touch of silver on this one to match the key. So let's go ahead and string these onto the string using our monofilament. So we'll get those on there. Some of them are a little tight, but I want to make a loop with the white string also. And then I want to tie one of the charms on each end of the string. Adjust my string length so that I have enough to tie a knot. Trim my ends, keep my little loop there. Now I'm going to use that little loop above my seed beads to put my brad through it and through the button, and then try and get it through that paper, which seems a little too thick, so I'll just use my scissor point to poke a hole. Pop my brad through there, open it up, lay it all flat, and adjust our beads. And there we have buttons, a brad, some beads, and some charms. Now we'll add some beads to our other string as well. Some of these beads don't quite fit over the string, so we'll get a few other ones. I just want to do a couple of beads on this one. And then we'll add our little charm at the bottom. Don't lose our loop there. And I'll tie a knot and tassel the end of this string again. And then get our key on the other side. Stretch our loop up. Put our brad through our button. And get our little loop on there, and pop that through the paper. It's not quite as thick on this one. Open that up, lay it flat, adjust our beads, and there we've got a button and some charms on that one. Now we just got to put the bead on, or the button on top. I'm going to put 2 black brads through this one. Got to try and put them side by side so they don't overlap each other in the back. Open those brads up. Lay them flat. And those are our two clusters. So we want to make them clips. So we're going to take two clips, and this is just a strip of tea-dyed paper. Gonna cut two squares, put a clip on, slide it to one edge, slap some glue on there, probably get it on my fingers, fold that over, and trap our clip in the center, adjust it a little bit, set that aside, and do the other one. Just the same, glue on one half, fold it over, stick it down, adjust our clip, and now we're going to figure out how we want our clip to lay on the back. I think this one's going to go up and down, so we'll get some glue on there, make sure that our clip opening is at the top. Press it down very firmly. And I want this one to go on this edge of a page, so we want the clip to be sideways. And it's going to overlap our edge a little, so I'm going to trim that paper off. Get some glue on there. Put it on sideways so that it can go on the edge of a page. And that's two ways to use our clip. Now let's go ahead and put those in the book. Find a page that we think they're going to look nice on. Let's use that one for this clip. Put it on the edge there. That dresses up the page. Now this one's going to go at the top of a page with our little charms dangling down there. So that's our cluster clips with beads and buttons. Now we have a couple of decorated hairpins that have charms on them, but we have to make them lay flat to go into our book so they don't pop holes in other pages. So our first step is just to use our pliers to break off the plastic tips on them, and then again use our pliers just to flatten that bend at the end. And we'll do the other one too. Flatten the bend, pull the plastic tips off, and then we'll just find a place to tuck them into our book. And these can go on the top of a page or on the edge of a page also, and we'll stick something in those as a card or something later. And that is how we use beads and buttons and clips in a journal. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.